If you visualize, you create a form of magic. We're going to hear about Jesus' life that continued, some Pauline Christianity. It was actually meant to scare us. Also, hear who had 14 children. And let's talk about imitative magic. Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date should be September 17 of 2025, but that's kind of irrelevant. We just want to know better. However, we're coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal. Are your hosts? Yes, Reverend Tom Bigley and Reverend Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Helping you understand the fundamental question. What are we here for?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. Bless you. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, Reverend Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hello, how's it going?
We're going. The internet's working. So, looks like the internet is supporting us at this time. That's really good. Power still working. And let's see, we both have beautiful faces to present everybody.
Oh, that's very nice.
For those of you that are new, well, sorry, you asked me. What about you?
I'm well. I'm sorry. I was trying to stay present while my puppy came over and started delivering different toys into my lap. So
very good. I also thought
I got a little distracted. Please.
I also thought the puppy was helping test your microphone too. That's what I thought I heard.
That was probably true. I apologize, but I need to update my setup now with this little youngster. So
there you go. Well, for those of you that are new, welcome. I'm going to go over our agenda so you have an idea. Not in addition to what I described we're going to talk about and hear about, there's other fun things that we do here too. First, we start out with announcements. Then we get into our favorite part, segment we call How Did You Use Novus Spiritus Philosophy? If you're familiar with it, now's a good time to start posting in the comments because we want to know, well, we'd like to share. And if there's something special, it's probably worth sharing. That's followed by a special prayers and a moment of silence. Then we get into the trance segments with Francine. That's followed by a meditation by Sylvia. I'll talk about some closing notes. We have a special prayer ceremony, so wait for it. We'll get there. A special prayer ceremony we call a novena. I'll talk about that when we get there. That's followed by appreciation, talking about or seeking out what you're appreciative of. And we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. If you're interested in getting your comments, we'd like to know what you thought of what you heard and how'd you use this information. So after the prayer or during the prayer, post it in the comments and we can put it up on the ticker tape or on a marquee on the bottom. Somewhere in here, this is almost like we shouldn't be doing this because both of us, you won't know it, but we're sweltering over here. But I'm going to light a candle anyway.
I'll ask my spirit guide to light a candle for me.
There you go. Some quick announcements. It looks like we're running active here. So yeah, I see we're on YouTube and anyway, welcome to all the new subscribers and followers. We do appreciate when the the followers and subscribers fill up, that gets us out more to more people. And if you're not sure if you want to help others benefit from this content, you can help by pay it forward and promote this content. On Facebook, if you'd share, like, and follow. And on YouTube, if you'd subscribe, give a thumbs up, or click on the bell. You can also donate by credit card, Venmo, or PayPal. And yes, we are active with Zelle. If you're familiar with that, it's another money transfer service that's supported by the major banks, and you can send funds through Zelle to to office@novus.org. If you're not sure, send $5. Set it up, send $5, and then call the office and pester Bob. Ask Bob if he can tell that your $5 got through. From there, great, you're all set up. Now, I don't know if you need a personal trainer for the soul, but just like a personal trainer helps strengthen your body, Chris Dufresne helps strengthen your spirit for the journey ahead. So don't miss out on Chris's question specials with email notifications. How do you do that? Go to his website, chrisrightnow.com, and put your email in there, and you will get notified. He's been posting some fun stuff on not only the live, but some of the new live things, not live, the new video postings he's been doing are fun to listen to, as well as some of the posts. Facebook users, Facebook's going to delete any of the videos that get posted after 30 days. Not sure why, it's their new policy. So you can find another venue. If you're looking for the past issues beyond 30 days, you can always go to YouTube and find things of that nature. What else? Oh, and if you are new to this and you want to be seen in chat, want your name to show up in our notes here in chat, you got to go to our description and look for the link that says talkstudio.streamlabs.com/Facebook and accept the permissions that they're asking for. This is a Facebook policy. So I understand it's supposed to be a one-time thing, and that's good. Glad that works out, and appreciate people for updating. Let's see. Now's our fun segment that we call How Did You Use Novus Spiritus Philosophy the last week? And I always offer to Kat. Do you want to go first? Do you want to point at me? Do you want to catch some comments in the comments?
I would love to know what you used of Novus philosophy over this past week.
What did I use?
Yeah.
Let's see. I started thinking about, I've joined Toastmasters, and I started thinking about, oh man, I got to start writing talks, get in there, and that's what the service is for. That's what I participate in, is get in there and do some more talks and get some practice. And besides the other formal things that we do, what's that called? Impromptu speeches. Those are always fun for me. I like those. However, I started thinking of, what am I gonna talk about, and what would I talk about? Again, what popped in, because I've asked this question before, what popped in was, grab something from the past. I mean, look at how many talks that I've done for church. I could, warm up one of those and, review it kind of thing. I think will help me walk through the paces. And then I started getting these, just after that, I started getting all these ideas, these bullet point things of ideas. And that's what I had brought up on and realized, I have to do a talk for Sunday, our minister meeting too. And at the last minute, these bullet points turned into what I shared at our minister meeting. Now, I'm going to see if I can do this quick, because we're supposed to keep this short. The bullet points were, we can choose how we feel in any situation. what comes to mind is the psychologist that survived Auschwitz, and he wrote a couple of books about it. Is Viktor Frankl. One of his books is Man's Search for Meaning, and he
Marvelous
refers
book.
to don't look for pleasure, look for meaning and purpose. For me, it's like money can't buy happiness. We've heard that phrase before. Don't look for the money, and look for a purpose. And it kind of falls along the lines for me of addiction is hereditary. So if you're looking for the money, it's like the marshmallow test. One, do you want one marshmallow now, or do you want two later if you don't eat the first one now? And along those lines, the other bullet point that came along was, many comedians are depressed, yet they choose to give to others in the form of, they travel and they do public speaking. Well, that's one of the two top things that people don't enjoy a lot on a regular basis. And to follow that, sorry, I'm trying to read my notes here. Oh, so that's a take and not a give, is when, I'm sorry. My point was in that is for comedians, don't try and be funny. That's a take, not a give. And it helped me realize that, maybe I need to adjust my thinking. So there have been situations where I thought of a couple of situations. I used to carry, 35-pound boxes up and down stairs. I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. And I stopped to think of, I can do this. I can get past this. That's where Francine's program in Synergism comes in, is visualizing that outcome. I talk about that when we're talking about special prayers and needs and visualizing. Francine talks about that. And we may hear more here tonight. Well, in conclusion, this is an emotional planet. And the lessons here are emotional lessons. And negativity travels faster. So what are we encouraged to do? It's visualize, choose to visualize an appreciated positive outcome. So that's my...
So important. It's fantastic, and I think it's such a powerful thing to keep in mind in like when life gets wild and crazy.
Yeah.
And things seem insurmountable, or there's insurmountable problems, or just small annoyances of nuisance things that we don't want to confront or do. It's like, wait a second, how much time are we spending watering the part of our garden that is responsible for anxiety and worry and stress, instead of thinking about, okay, but if I'm on the other end of this, what does that look like? How am I going to feel once this is done? How proud of myself am I going to, or what kind of good is it going to have done in the world? And I think that is just a marvelous piece of wisdom that you just shared, and that it is deeply meaningful. Some of the acts that we do, or the things that we toil with are meaningful, deeply meaningful, and aren't necessarily an instant hit of happiness. Anyone who loves their family but knows that their family is difficult sometimes might be able to relate to that, or the times where work is meaningful and yet difficult and isn't necessarily always a happy day. Like, those are all marvelous ways to disarm the difficulty and the awful feeling, and keep cynicism and depression from settling in. So I'm so happy that you brought that up.
Oh, thank you. The other thing that comes to mind is when I get into a situation, follows into this. When I get into a situation and I feel like anxiety or some kind of fear comes along associated with who I'm going to be facing, or I realize those are habits, not I'm what's the right way to say this? I'm addressing it more often. What there's a term for it. It's like, cognitive therapy or something. I think that's what it's called. Realizing in the moment, hey, the anxiety is not. There's no foundation for the anxiety or something else going on. It's a habit, or bad
It is a
habit,
habit.
and I've started to use that and say, oh, wait a minute, and visualize. For me, negativity is a form of like octopus tentacle coming and wrapping itself. So exactly, it's been described from trances, and so that's the visual I have is negativity is like an octopus tentacle trying to grab on and wrap. And
Oh
what I
no.
do, and what's interesting for me is when I think of those things, guess how big that tentacle is? That tentacle's like, this big around.
Oh no. Oh
So
no.
it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of huge for me. Well, guess what? What I'm visualizing, not. I've tried slicing and cutting, and it still wants to stay there. It's something that's
It is
still,
sticky. Yeah.
yeah. So what I'm doing is for visualizing, even if it's just this huge chunk of tentacle, I still slice into it, but I put that grain of mustard seed in there to say, okay, we want a gap in there. We want to separate this. We want this, and for me, that's my mind because of with the mustard seed of belief, or you'll get results, and that's my visual is to put that mustard seed in there and leave that gap. So that's allowing and causing it to fade away, and over time it gets easier and less and less, and the tentacles get smaller and smaller, and over time it disappears, and there are less tentacles.
Love this visual.
Now, are you going to outdo
yes.
that?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was just thinking. One of my dearest friends. A couple of us watched an anime recently that had the most adorable octopus. And so as I'm listening to you,
Yeah.
you're just like, wait, I'm gonna take this like image of a scary octopus and turn it as positive as possible. The mustard in a mustard seed approach, but like it's like, oh, all negativity. I'm gonna have you be the cutest octopus in the future, and I'm gonna have you shrink and just be adorable. And it's a form of transformation.
And that's fun because you reminded me. It's like it's how do you share? You got to pick and choose your visuals.
Yeah.
If it's something
what's
else,
powerful
great.
to you? Yes.
What's powerful? What did you learn? What makes sense? Because yes, I remember I've seen like video clips of the gentleman that wrote a book about the octopus that was my teacher or something like that. And I'm like, okay, well that makes for interesting. Conflicting visuals, but yeah, pick and choose your visuals.
Yes. Marvelous. Well, I suppose I could share what I used of Novus philosophy over the past week. This is somewhat related because I was on the minister call with you, and I was thinking of. We were all talking about the same things about keeping our eye on the most important thing and staying on the positive, seeing the positive in the future that we're going towards. And
Yeah.
I very intentionally have been responding mentally in the moment as quickly as possible to any cynicism that I've heard come from anyone around me, including from myself. Because we all have like the little nattering
Yeah.
in the back of our minds. So I've jumped on it as quickly as possible. What cynicism, and we've been told that cynicism is, and if we're looking for a definition, cynicism is like that person who comes in and they might be really smart, but they're always saying this is why it's the worst case scenario. This is like, it's never going to get better. That's what cynicism is. It's saying it's never going to get better. It's always going to be like, everything is terrible. Everything is sideways. It's all dog water. Nothing is going to change. That is cynicism. And it might come from someone that you love and who is very smart and it might sound kind of like have this sort of allure to it, but it's what happens when we don't vote. It's what happens when we just give up in life. It's what happens when we say there's no point in doing this because it's already sideways anyway. And we have heard a trance talking about cynicism in the past, saying that it is a form of negativity. And when things do get very, very sideways in the world, it's very, very easy to just say, what can I do? I'm so overwhelmed. Nothing I do matters. And you have to jump on it. It's like I have trained myself ever since that trance to especially jump on cynicism wherever I notice it and say, no. That is a form of negativity. And we have to disarm that, because if you keep watering it, it will turn into depression. And it does. It's the start of depression. It's like a slippery slope into like just the total hopelessness and despair. You have to jump on it. So I've been very intentional about doing that. To myself and to wherever I've heard it around this week, because I don't want, because on the flip side, right, on the flip side is hope, and hope is also this kind of nebulous thing, like what is it? But going back to what you're saying, is you have to think specifically about where it is that we're going. What is it that you are doing that can make a difference? And then you have to believe that if you throw one starfish in the water, that it matters. Yes, it mattered to that one starfish. If you give a compliment to your neighbor, that mattered that day. You don't know where that person is. You don't know how ugly they might have been feeling, or if someone came at them and says, like, you're ugly for X, Y, and Z. Like, you just don't know. And if you stop and let somebody in who, during rush hour, you don't know, like, what kind of difference that makes for that person's day. It matters. It all matters and is meaningful. And it is a commitment that I made to myself between God and I, that as dark as the world might get, I'm going to turn cynicism into its absolute opposite and say, no, I am going to do good deeds. Period. End of story. That is what it's about. So that is very intentionally where my mindset has been at, similarly, because we're on the same wavelength after that minister call.
Cool.
Yeah. So, got to jump on that cynicism before it turns into a big old octopus monster. All right.
And when you hear the tapes running in your head, eject that tape.
Yes.
Put your finger on your forehead and say, eject that.
Yeah, and if you're like in the middle of a meeting, you can even just do this.
Exactly. And on your heart chakra and say, that's not my truth.
It's like, no, that's not my truth. Yeah, that's like, there's ways that you can say this in the workplace setting. Just be like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, respectfully, I don't see it that way. And vehemence.
Cool.
All right. I would love to read some of our comments.
Please.
Amazing. Okay.
We want to know.
Amazing. Okay. All right. We have Reverend Danny and Reverend... where is she? Where did she go? Oh, my goodness. I am so... I saw her... Where is she? Oh, she's on the Facebook side. Oh, that's right. Reverend Yvonne is here. So much love to both of you. Just endless, bottomless. Just marvelous folks. So what our folks have been saying about what they've used of Novus philosophy. Lots of hellos, lots of love going out there from everyone. It's just so wonderful. And that positivity does make it through. My goodness, absolutely does. Jorge says, at work, dealing with the public, I choose to ignore the negative people. And from now on, I will say to them, go with God. Focusing on the positive, nice people instead. Marvelous. Then over, and Victoria also says, negative people can drain you. Surround yourself with mirrors. So the negative bounces right back. It's really interesting if you do a little test to see if the negativity is coming from you or coming from outside, because sometimes we in a bad mood, sometimes that just happens. But you can do a test where you visualize mirrors facing inwards and just feel how that feels, and it usually feels quite nice. And then flip them outside, and you can feel a difference as well. And that's how you can tell, like, oh, I'm getting a sense of where my energy is at right then. And almost always it's coming from the outside. So the mirrors are very powerful. And over with our friends on Facebook, Esteban says, thanks for the heads up, Tom. I was wondering what happened to the past episodes. Absolutely. They are indeed over on YouTube. James says, blessings from Tennessee. Hello, James. So nice to see you. Other friends that we have in chat right now, Ramona Gardens. Gardens says, I read Bibliomancy Messages to Myself. Soul's Perfection, Book 2, Sylvia, and I've been calling inner counsel and angels and Mother God for miracles, and I got my miracle. I am so happy to hear that for you. That's fantastic. Aaron says, where's your hubby, Cat? And I think he's sneezing in the other room. I think he's got a little bit of the sneezes at the moment. And other friends, we have Tangela, Alicia, marvelous to see you. Ron, Carolyn. It's just so good to see everybody. Michelle. Michelle says, right on, Cat, mental accountability. Yeah, it does take some diligence with yourself. Sometimes you have to really jump on your own thoughts and say, hey, stop that. Let's get ourselves back on track here. All right. As we continue our dialogue today, we've got such lovely things to talk about too, and we'll continue reading your comments. So really looking forward to our show today.
Yes.
Marvelous.
Let's see. Oh, now it's time for special prayers. So if you've got a special need, whether it's for you or for someone else, now's a good time to post in the comments. Or since those are public, if you want to do one private, you can go to our website and post on the prayer chain there. Those are not read. However, they are all prayed for. Whether you ask for them tomorrow, you had something yesterday, you don't have anything at the moment, but you want to put a reservation in, great. I'm all for that too. So let's take a moment of silence, and we're going to ask for Mother God, the archetypes, archangels, even our spirit guides, and any other of the hosts over there, because we're the ones that have to ask. We want to visualize what that outcome is, and we're also going to ask for the greater good. So let's take a moment. We're going to ask for a moment of silence and ask for all those prayers to be answered. Amen. What flavor is the bone?
Oh, can you hear that? Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I tried to get her something that she wasn't going to devour right away. So I took her to PetSmart today for the first time.
Oh, fun.
She was so just bewildered and enamored, had a great time. And I got her a sustainably sourced ostrich bone.
Oh, nice.
A big
Fun.
chicken. Big.
Uh-huh.
Big chicken. So.
That's funny to...
I'm
yes,
sorry you can hear that.
Yes. Anyway,
Well,
while let's see. So we did that. What am I saying here? Oh, okay. I'm trying to read notes and not pay attention. So
I'm gonna mute myself.
Yep. We have... Oh, sorry. That was notes. Yes, the conference call, again, the conference call had, we've canceled that for right now. It's going to take some time for me to prep the Zoom service to get that incorporated how I had it. So at this time, there's no conference call. for people to call in and listen, unfortunately. However, yep, trance segments. Now we're getting on to trance segments. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I sure am. I'm so excited.
All right.
And Mocha's ready too.
Well, we want to hear about the trance segments.
Oh, of course. I am so distracted by this adorable animal. All right. All right. 7-month-old adorable baby. Okay. So we're going to hear more about Jesus's life continued from last week, which is going to be awesome. Pauline Christianity meant to scare people and was not what Jesus wanted. We're going to hear a little bit about the quote, "Those who live by the sword die by the sword." Then Jesus lived to be an old man with children. Jesus addressed both Mother and Father God on the cross. And then in times where people kill peace-loving communities, the community is always smeared as being barbaric and pagan, historically speaking. It always has to be smeared. And then we're going to hear about the Basque individuals and how they've been enslaved. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
He was meant to go on with a Gnostic, Essene sects that kept going on. Do you think by any means that the actual Christianity and the true Christianity was what he still kept propagating throughout all of Europe and everywhere else? It wasn't just St. Paul, it was him. And he kept the Christian sects going. The other group, wanting to make him whatever they wished him to be, a head of a church, a divinity, so that they could scare people half to death and make them believe that this man died for their sins, when that was the last thing that he wanted. And that was a tragedy of Christ's life. He lived to be very old. He lived to have children. And he lived to have total respect and love for the Mother God. And that's one of the things he kept trying to bring about. That's why the Bible is so erroneous when it does say, "Mother, behold thy son, son, behold thy mother." He was not talking to Mary. He was talking to the Mother God. Right after that he says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, into your hands I command my spirit." He spoke to Mother and Father God at the same time. Pontius Pilate allowed this to happen because he was converted to the Gnostic Christianity of which Christ was, and which you are a part of, and which you should be proud of, because your lineage now is royal. It goes back to the beginning. It goes back to what is the truth. It's not just dogma and hate and horror. It is a free-moving, loving, non-judgmental, but warring. And I don't mean slashing people. I mean, but warring against all the prejudice and all the cruelty of which our Lord fought for. So instead of being in the bosom of Christ, you are on the side of Christ. Instead of having him elevated, you are standing shoulder to shoulder with him. You're completing the mission that he wished for you to complete. What his message was, and what the world lost, and what the world covered over that was evil. So if any of you have any doubts about being the true Christians, you are the true Christians. True Christians stand shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart with Christ. And that's the truest form of love. Not to put somebody on a pedestal as some kind of out of this world saint that they can never reach, but to live by the rules of which they lived and died by. Even though he lived to be an old man, his mission was still tragic, because the world has a way of being cruel to people that want to bring the message of love. And even though the Bible is terribly aborted in many sections, every time Christ speaks, there is love. And that's what he wanted to bring about. But why do you think he said an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth? And he said those who live by the sword die by the sword. And he didn't pick up the sword to kill people. he picked up the sword to defend his own Gnosticism that was sadly being eaten away by the churches that wanted a lot of money and great artificial structures. And because it seemed so easy, and then the churches grabbed it, or the group of people that were very Wall Street minded, you might say, even long before there was a Wall Street, and said, this is something we can really build on, and let's really make this into a big deal. And it was. And it became that. And our Lord has waited centuries for this to come back. And every time Gnosticism starts, something happens to dissipate it. And it is the feminine principle of this world. It is the rulership of this planet, the Mother God. And that's why people thought that everybody that loved the Mother God were witches. Of course they had to say they were witches, because they believed in the Mother Goddess, and they thought that they were all going to meet on some moonlit night and run naked through the woods. This is a travesty. No one does that really has this love and worship. But the church was very smart. Their answer to Sophie, Theodora, or Asna was Mary. Do you see what I'm saying? They always had to have the feminine principle in there anyway, but they made her so subsidiary, and they're so archaic and so stupid now that they're not even keeping up with the times. They're not addressing any of the issues of feminine behavior or feminine knowledge or women that should be priests or abortion laws or anything else. They're not addressing anything that's contemporary. They never even address issues of birth control. And there's no birth control you can practice if an entity wants to come in. How many children do you think are here, what parents think are accidental? There's no accidents. If that baby's supposed to come in, it's going to come in. And there's nothing you're going to do to stop it. But the churches are not addressing any of these issues. They're clear back into the 15th or 14th century when people probably needed to be. I know in my time when I lived in 1500, even in my Aztec community, we were ruled by fear. And even that's totally out of proportion. We never did do human sacrifices. We never reached inside somebody's body and grabbed a human heart out and threw it out. We wouldn't have done such a thing. But the Spaniards liked to believe that we were that barbaric that we did that. So they could justify the fact that they killed our whole communities. You see, whenever a group has to kill a whole group of peace-loving people, they must say that they're barbaric or pagans. The same as you could be called pagan or barbaric because you believe in something that's beautiful, something that's good, something that's pure. But you must this time I can't tell you enough how important it is to you to stick by your beliefs and stand shoulder to shoulder with Christ and all the other Gnostics that were here prior and folded and failed. The church was smart in many ways. It had many rules to keep people in line, the same as your Scientology did at that point. To gain control and money, they have to have fear, they think. The only fear that you should have is the fear that you want to complete your own soul's spirituality, but not fear from any outside source that can give you anything. Because no man can judge your soul. Now, are there any questions before we go on to synergism? Yes.
I just have one. You talked about the predecessors and Christ's followers. Are any of those followers in this room or among this group?
Yes, many. And his followers were legion. Unfortunately, they all had to go underground. And you see, the true Christians, the true Gnostics, were the only ones that were fed to the lions. Now the Gnostics are not going to be fed to the lions again, but they have to go through their own trials. And they were the true Christians that went underground to the catacombs to live the way Christ wanted them to live. Not in the catacombs, but because they were up against the church again, which was the Jewish or the Hebrew. And then, of course, supposedly when Catholicism took hold, it was even more frightening. The only ones that have not been disturbed is the Spanish Basque community. And that's where so many of the UFOs come and go, is out of Spain. The same as Machu Picchu and other places. That they come and go freely.
Is that the descendants of Atlantis?
Descendants of Atlantis, the descendants of Christ, and Christ's bloodline still exists to this day because of his children and his children's children. And this is what the Knights Templar knew, this is what the Masons knew, this is what the Rosicrucians knew, and this is what the Gnostics knew. And different than they, I'm letting you know it publicly. The Rosicrucians know this information, not as thoroughly as you do and not in great depth, but that's why they've always been a secret society.
Darn it, it just went over my head. And you're muted, by the way. Oh, there you are.
Totally okay. All right. What kind of thoughts do you have for what we just listened to?
They just went.
Oh.
They came and went, and I was like, oh, hello. I was remembering. Oh, I know the and then came Holy Blood, Holy Grail, the book, talking about and sharing details about this. After the, I believe it was after the fact of the trance. Fun, helpful information.
That's really interesting. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about Holy Blood, Holy Grail in the next segment. But it is a fascinating read, and my goodness, all the clever ways that old Gnostics hid things and tried to communicate with each other and tried to preserve information. This is so fascinating. Heartbreaking that they had to do it, but but here we are.
And you know, it's an interesting, it boggles my mind how, but I appreciate the Basque community and their ability to sustain themselves. But now that I think about it, because I guess what comes to mind is they were able to sustain themselves, that I thought was through the Spanish Inquisition. Yet maybe most of that was outside of Spain. I that's the way I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. However, I don't, now that I think about it, I don't have a recollection of the timeline between the Basque community and their Gnostic beliefs and the Spanish Inquisition. Did they work around each other, go around? But hey, that's something to keep in mind to look for.
Yeah, I do not know. It's really interesting.
I do recall, anyway, that there was in that region, where is that? Like north, as I'm looking at a map, northeastern Spain, that was also colonized there. That's what I recall Francine talking about.
Interesting. Okay.
In other words, just as we were, the origins of life was, we've been told, is in Africa, that territory was also colonized as well, from another planet.
Fascinating. I not too long ago, we heard a trance about the different regions of, like, different star systems that we were colonized from, and there was something in that trance that really deeply affected me, hearing about how people from Arabic descent and Jewish descent came from the same place. And it's tragic that they were that they fight now amongst each other, even though they were originally brothers and
Uh-huh.
sisters. And that indigenous individuals and Spanish and Latino individuals came from a similar place, and it's just there's just something there's something about hearing about like people that live on this planet who have been so oppressed and so like treated so badly and
Mm-hmm.
treated so poorly, to hear like no, like your deep ancestral roots are celestial. It's like everybody has like this unique celestial heritage. Listening to Francine talk about it, it's just
Yeah.
something about that really deeply affected me. I was like, oh man,
Now-
we are really star stuff.
Remember, though, what I think allows for deviation of and the corruption and so on.
Yeah.
That's the DNA, the origins of the DNA, not
Right.
not the souls.
Right.
Souls can come from anywhere, have whatever they want to accomplish. So it's they provided the physical body for people to come and trying to say this right. Yes, the colonization created new, propagated, that created the new place for new entities to come and be. So it's just the DNA that they provided, and the souls, like ourselves, brought in the lessons, as it were, and what the lessons that needed to be learned, or what are we going to do? How are we going to do things?
Yep. Even
The
the very difficult lessons that our planet is going through right now as we speak. It's always very assuring to me to put it in the context that these things are charted and we are able to respond in a spiritual way, in a peaceful way too.
Who's making comments about this, or who has a question?
Lots of comments. Yeah, lots of comments. Victoria says, imagine if the entire planet here was Gnostic, and what a wonderful thing that would be. Oh, my fingers are crossed that we're able to win the planet for good. I completely agree.
But then we'd have no more lessons.
Maybe. Francine did mention that some of the lessons that people learn on other planets are more things like they still have to work on jealousy. They still have to work on like especially Andromedans work more on intellectual pursuits. Pleiades people work on more, I want to say spiritual pursuits. Crab Nebulans come in towards the end of things to really help with spiritual pursuits. There's lots of different things. There's one planet in Andromeda region that they described as being a prison planet and being very, very desolate and awful. Not awful like here, but just it sounds like a lot of they made it sound like a lot of mission life entities go there to try to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like crime still exists. So anyway,
yeah. What
sure.
other curiosities?
Okay. Garden says, Wednesdays do lift me up for the week too. A boost of positive thoughts and people. Amen to that. Carmita says, me too. It's like the recharging of the battery and fills my soul.
Good.
Jorge says, quote, quote, God-fearing Christians shake my head. We're God-loving Christians.
A fun. While you're reading the next one,
Yeah.
I'm hoping this. If this isn't fit for you, that's fine. We may never understand that because we don't think like them, and it's not that they're negative, evil, or mean. They had a quest. They had a curiosity of what is it like to come into this life,
Yes.
into a life, and experience that.
Yes, yes.
And that's for me, that's where we can't judge the soul. We can judge the action, but not the soul.
we
And by the way, when you get to the other side, merge with them so you get to understand. Yes, it's confusing to us. Why don't they think like we do? And they also think the same thing. Why don't we think like they do? Well, when we get to the other side, we get to merge with those people and exchange our experiences, and we get to see the other side of things. That's also follows in the line of dark entities. We talk about soul color, not skin color. I hear questions. Why do they do that? I don't understand how could they do that? And
will
it's
never
like,
understand psychopaths.
exactly. We don't think like them.
No, no, no. No,
And
the
we
fuck
may
is so-
never understand, or we may never understand their thinking.
Something to keep in mind is that as frustrating as it is to encounter so many kind of closed-minded but otherwise good people, because there are millions and millions and millions and millions of good people who are closed-minded. The towers exist on the other side for a reason, and counseling and orientation exists on the other side for a reason. And we're told that the towers actually scale in real time based on how much need there is for the soul, and that kind of suggests that at some point the towers aren't going to be needed at all, because it's a place of reflection about where is it that my spirituality went wrong, that I ended up being such a jerk in life, that I ended up being so off track, so closed-minded, so like oppressive and even persecutory towards other people. That's what the towers are there for, so that people can reflect and get back in touch in their own time with God and figure out, like, okay, what are going to be my next steps to try to re-establish a more spiritual path. So God knew that this was going to happen. God knew that there was going to be lots of good people out there who would lose the way and do jerk things. And unfortunately, we have a lot of it here. But it doesn't mean that everyone's bad. It doesn't mean that everyone is evil. It doesn't mean that everyone isn't deserving of love and peace and respect. But it is a challenge. It's a challenge for them to grow, a challenge for us to be patient.
That's what this planet is about. It's as bad as it is. It's the best. It's like going to the best college.
The absolute best college. Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
A few more comments.
Thank you for thinking of that. One more comment, and let's.
Sure. Someone asks, how would you find out if you have the bloodline of Jesus? And I'm going to direct you towards Ancestry.com in combination with Holy Blood, Holy Grail. They've got a ton of genealogies in the back that point out some of the different.
If your genealogy matches up to Holy Blood, Holy Grail, then maybe
might tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, but that doesn't in any way, shape, or form take away from the spirituality of your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let's move on to the next marvelous segment here. Okay, so we're going to hear about Gnostic Sophia and some of the places where Gnostics went, like Tibet. We're going to hear about the fish symbol for Christianity. Jesus had 14 biological children. My goodness gracious. Pontius Pilate had family in Aquitaine, France, and that's why we're told that the Gnostics and Jesus went to France after his crucifixion. The Inquisition happened at hotbeds of Gnosticism. And then love rules. Going to hear about that.
Cool. All right, here we go.
Yes.
One little tidbit from that book was fascinating. In Holy Blood, Holy Grail, the Knights Templar have a secret at the guard. This is the secret. One interesting facet, though, is they had a code. They used a cipher because to talk openly would mean heresy and therefore death. So they had this code they used. And some professor wrote a book in which he says, I know what the code is. And he takes the code and applies it to some of the Gnostic
The word was
writing.
Blutnik.
His name?
The word was Blutnik they used to each other.
I think that's right. I forget the word in the book. But they took this secret word that they kept switching back and forth and translated it in the code, and it was the word Sophia. Now, Sophia is found in all the Gnostic writings as the Mother God.
Mother God.
So one of their secrets was the female divinity principle, which was a Gnostic principle.
Also, so was the fish. The fish actually was, and if you want to wear any symbol at all, use the 3 circles that you see in the back. And I think Michael is doing something about the 3 circles. Getting pins or something has to do with 3 circles. The other true Christian circle is not the cross, but it's a fish. And the fish is really to procreate itself, such as a salmon swimming upstream. And that's really the truest Christian symbol. And that's why they used to draw the fish on the ground for each other. And you see what the church did was adopt all the pagan symbols, or any symbols, and convert them into their own. Yes.
I have 2 questions. When Christ was studying in India, when he left there, did he get a chance to go to Tibet?
Oh, yes. He went to Tibet and studied Sanskrit. Yes.
And in his lineage, into the present time, are there any relationships out of Europe? Have any migrated to this continent?
Absolutely. And there are of Germanic, as well as Jewish, as well as English, as well as French backgrounds. Because before he was finished, he had 14 children, so.
So he, initially after the crucifixion, he left, part of the deal, I presume, because Rome wanted him out of their hair.
And Pontius Pilate wanted to save him.
Save him. So he left and went to France. Why France? Why Aquitaine area?
Aquitaine, because at that time Pontius Pilate had family there. And they were to take care of him and to house him and to take care of Magdalene.
Yeah.
And he did. And that's why the last temptation of Christ was so controversial, because the church did not want this Gnostic, and it had all the flavorings of Gnosticism in it. And that's the last thing the church wanted. And the fundamentalists got all riled up because they thought that this made Christ less than a divinity, which is ridiculous. It makes him more of a divine person.
Wasn't France at that time part of the Great Roman Empire?
Absolutely.
So it was actually Rome.
All Rome, all worlds then were Rome. The whole world was Rome.
When did the word Christians or Christianity, then it didn't actually evolve until after Christ's life?
546 was when it got crazy. 546 at the Council of Nicaea under Constantine was when it began to get crazy. Up to that time, as Larry states, which is true, Christ was never known as a divinity. He was known as a prophet, as a good person, as a direct report, along with Buddha, Muhammad, and any of the others. They decided then, if we're going to make this church grow, let's get a divinity. Who shall we pick? The only one we know is, let's get this person named Christ.
And then they adopted the word Christian.
Christian from Christ.
Wasn't it true also at that time, because of the Jewish keeping such good records of their past history and everything, that they could lean on that? That's one of the reasons they chose Jesus to be a
Yes.
part of.
You see, and all these were kept very well in the libraries of Alexandria. At that point in time, and I will give you this one hint, Sylvia was, at that point in time, a teacher of Gnosticism. She tried to protect the libraries of, and most of you were there, trying to protect the libraries of Alexandria, because all the information of Gnosticism, and they burned it and stoned her. And a lot of you got stoned at that time, trying to protect your writings. And the only reason why, because if you look back in history, there was no war going on. They just tried to burn it because they didn't want, the church prelates at this time did not want the true information of the Mother Goddess and the greater glory of the divinity of God to be known.
The book I referred to makes reference that actually they think some of this Gnostic teaching went up as far as Ireland and Scotland.
Yes, Ireland, Scotland,
And
but most of it ended up, as Enid said, in the Tibetan, back in the Tibetan.
yeah, you've said that years back. She said the Tibetans have all this knowledge in Sanskrit. But is there anything really extant in the old Gaelic in Ireland, maybe?
Oh yes, but that, because that's such a Catholic country.
Yeah.
You see, what you'll find amazing is wherever there was a great amount of Gnosticism, Catholics came in, or what they call the Catholic, yes, and
That's
started Inquisitions.
And didn't the Christians burn Alexandria? Didn't they riot and burn it?
Not the true Christians.
No, I'm sorry. When I say Christians, I mean the traditional today Christians.
Yeah, but see, we don't want to call them Christians anymore. I think the time now is to not call them Christians, because they're not Christians. They can't be Christians and followers of what Christ wanted. They're false Christians.
I agree with that. Which we call them.
There are a lot of words which I cannot use. But this planet must be saved for good. That's the bottom line of it. What he was trying to do was to turn the gray to white.
It's our mission.
Turn the great and white.
Turn the gray to white and fight the dark. And you are in battle. You are under the sword.
Well, I just wondered about that, because it just seems sometimes a lesson in futility.
Of course it
It's
is.
so discouraged sometimes.
Of course it does. But the ultimate is that you really are doing what you see. Gnosticism rules throughout all the planets. Gnosticism is the truest form of Christianity. Now, the other name that Christ has always used for everyone else that seemed to be followers of him were infidels. Call them infidels.
That's nice. I like that. Love it.
If they don't experience Gnosticism here before they pass over, then what is
Then they're going to have to experience it in some life.
So the lifetime is repeated until they get the...
Till they get the Gnostic belief that
So that's-
love rules, that God is the God of love, he is not the God of hate, that God is all forgiving, all perfect, all powerful, all truthful, all goodness,
so they go to the other side
and have to keep coming back.
okay, then that explains.
That does explain.
So you may think it's a lesson in futility. It's like trying to take trigonometry, but finally you realize you pass it and you don't have to take it again.
That's great. Well, that's different, and there is a
Oh,
specific-
absolutely. There's a star for that.
Oh, good. Good color.
Yes.
You said many of us though adopted Gnosticism in previous to this.
Yes.
So have we already grasped this idea?
Yes, but see, once happened, it becomes a delineation of degrees. Once you grasp it, then you have the choice, or you're asked, or forced, whichever way you want to look at it, to go down and then try to convert. And I hate to use that word conversion, because it sounds like you're going to try to bang something, but by example, by loving, by giving, you come down to try to make the world better for your own perfection against. Oh, you've grasped it. But as mission entities then, as white mission entities, because the minute you grasp, and not everyone will grasp it. Now you came as white from Novus, but, or Nouveau, I should keep calling it Novus though, because that's really what it is. But Nouveau is that you really came down then, after you grasp it, is to help other people. And reach a higher level on the other side.
Oops. I just realized that I misspoke previously when I was saying, oh, Francine had spoke about holy blood or spoke about the lineage of Christ, and then the book came out. In this case, for these trance sessions, these came out after the book was published.
Very interesting. Yeah,
What'd you discover? You were looking up something?
I was taking a gander at the Bloodline of the Holy Grail. It's a great book. They talk about a lot of Gnostic Gospels in there and a lot of clarifications about like evidence that Christ survived. It just really, really goes through it. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
But as far as what we were, and something made me laugh just hysterically. When I whipped this book out, the Bloodline of the Holy Grail, earlier, Tangela over on Facebook said, "Kat, it never fails to amuse me that you can just not even look and just whip out a book." Looking for the right one, I'll just whip it out. It was really funny. That just made me lose it laughing. It was so funny.
You have an indexed shoulder to.
Oh, apparently. Oh man. So some comments. Ramona says every equinox and solstice is when we write our petitions. And Garden says any day I'll write a petition, but the summer and spring, fall, and winter equinox are good reminders to take care and connect more often. Yeah, amen.
The equinox and the solstices.
Oh. Yes, equinox and solstices, yes. Yvonne Dilsworth says, every few minutes I'm being blocked from the show. What? You can try catching us on YouTube if that might be easier. I'm sorry that you're having that.
Yeah.
Jorge says, Jesus changed his name to David Albigensian when he moved to France. It's Albigensian, yes. There's a whole period of history about the Albigensian Crusades, I think. Like, it was a whole thing. So looking at my notes, what we just listened to, so the symbol of the fish, being two arcs, my understanding is that people, if back in the times of very, very early Christianity, if two people were trying to figure out if one person was Christian, another person was not, they would cross their legs and like draw an arc in the sand, and the other person across would also do the same thing, and together those two arcs made the fish. And then in trance, Francine mentioned that there would be a fish was one of four symbols that would say, here's going to be the meeting place. And fish would mean like we're going to meet down by the river. I forget what the other three ones are. I think one of them was a owl to say up in the mountains. But yeah, it's a very, very ancient symbol with a lot of history for the early Christians. Very interesting. Okay. Any other thoughts that you have? Okay.
A lot of fun information and then I'll have questions tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly true. I think it's amazing that he had 14 children. My goodness. And he additionally had some other children that were adopted, and not one of them went bad. And it sounds like they went in some different directions. And that's why you can find that's why she was saying in this last segment that you can find the bloodline went to some different places, because he had so many children. Just sounds like life.
That was, to my understanding, that was common back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The number of kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just even for context, I was startled hearing about how many siblings Jesus had, like Thomas and James and Andrew, like all these siblings. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, and all these cousins. Oh my goodness gracious! But it's exactly what you said. Oh yeah, it makes sense for the time. Everyone has lots of youngsters. All right. So for our next segment, we're going to start an entirely new trance that is going to talk about synergism.
It is? It's a new?
Yes, it's going to be.
I thought it was the tail end.
I think that was the tail end.
No,
What we just listened to. Then
not according to my notes.
Okay,
But-
then I heard something else. So if you have notes, you go ahead and read them.
No, read your notes, because I think you heard the right trance. What I recall, and we're all going to verify this because we all get to hear this.
Yeah.
I think she's talking about how in a future trance, she brings up the topic that she's going to talk about in a future trance, and I think it was specifically synergism. But this is the tail end of this trance. This is the last segment for this trance.
Okay. Well, the notes that I wrote down was the start of talking about synergism. Synergism is taking a small grain of what you want and expanding on it, and she gets all into imitative magic. That's
Yep,
the best
that's
we got.
all
So, okay.
valid, fun stuff. So,
All right.
which means go, get ready.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. I want to talk to you tonight about synergism. Synergism is the act of taking a small grain of what you want and expanding on it. Now let me explain that. It goes very much along with what Marilyn was stating. Let's say you're fighting a legal case, or you're trying to procure money that is rightfully yours. Do it in almost, and I hate to use the word magic because that takes with it a sorcery connotation. But in this world, things are imitative. In other words, if you want to get money, and you need money only because it's a bargaining tool. Money allows you to build chapels and churches and homes for the homeless and all that. Take a dollar and concentrate on the dollar to make it grow. Concentrate on the fact that with that dollar, after you've made it grow, or mentally created to grow, and don't be afraid to make it grow mentally. Think of it as reproducing itself many, many times. 1,000,000 times if you want. Take that dollar and make sure that you give it to another person. $1. But make sure that that person is someone who is in need. You don't want someone who just makes a habit out of panhandling on the street because you're not helping them. But take that dollar. That's what synergism means. You have now enacted to the universe what you want. You have put your needs or your wants into motion. And it becomes a chain domino reaction. So you've taken the dollar bill, you've put it in front of you, you've meditated upon it, you've asked it to grow. You also must give conditions to it. If it is to grow, I will get so much and I will give so much to someone else. The needy, the poor, the homeless, helping. That's what tithing really meant. It didn't mean to give it all to the Pope. It didn't mean to give it all to a bishop or a whatever. It meant to go into the gigantic pot by which everybody could be taken care of. Now, if you want to be thin, let's say, get something that is imitative of that, a thin picture. And when you do this, cut out a picture of your face and put it on that body. And begin to program that you yourself are projecting you onto that body or the slimness of that body. Then take that and put it in some place in which you can view it at all times. What is also nice to do is to get a very, very large bulletin board And this can be anything such as even a tack board, and start putting the things up that you want to program for. In other words, you could pin a dollar bill up, you could pin a picture of a person that you want to look like, you could pin a car up that you wish, a house that you wish. Begin to put all the wish things, all the synergistic things. And synergism, as I explained to you, and Larry at one point had a hard time understanding until I said that what a synergistic person does is like an architect. He goes into the middle of the field and he has 2 bricks in his hand. He looks in the field and he says, from these 2 bricks, I will build a shopping center. And what happens? From those 2 bricks come in other bricks, other workers, and the dream, the synergistic dream, is built into a shopping center. And if man can do that with 2 bricks, 2 million bricks, 2 trillion bricks, you also can do that with your life. You call to you what you ask for. Now you may say to me, what if I wasn't never meant to have $2 million? Then you would not be in this class to hear how to do it. So synergism also takes in that you will know what you are supposed to know and who is supposed to know it. And let's say you want your heart to be better. Find a biology book with a heart, put it up on your wish board, and ask for a red, beating, healthy heart. In fact, it wouldn't be bad to put a picture of a body up with all the venous capillary systems and begin to program that that is your body with blood coursing through, because the more senses you can appeal to, the more synergistic it becomes. The color of money, the feel of money, the looking at the money, the programming for the money. But you must make the contractual agreement. If I get this, I will promise that I will give so much to good, to charity, to homeless, to whatever. You don't want to win it just for yourself. Because if you do, then the synergism dies. And there's nothing wrong with even saying, I want this to take care of my family. That's okay too. Anybody besides yourself. I'll give 40% to my family. I'll give 40% or 30% or 20%, whatever, but you've got to make it a contractual agreement and program for that. Yes?
With whom do I contract?
God, the ultimate contractor. All contracts are made with God. God within as well as a God without. And your inner God sense, your inner God knowledge is the one that augments this, as well as the God without. What you're doing is you're connecting to the divine resource, the divine cosmic resource that makes things happen. You see, if people only knew that all of this, you might say, swirls in the atmosphere, and it depends on who can connect to it and who will be tenacious enough to connect to it to pull it down. That's why some people are lucky and some people are not, because they don't know how to attach to that giant umbilical cord that attaches to all. They don't realize that they can be fed.
So it doesn't have anything to do with our charts, really, or our astrological whatever?
No. No, it has nothing to do.
So money does not enter in as a rule to charts if you have a higher aspect or higher goals for
Absolutely.
that money that
Absolutely.
can be bypassed than anything that you may have written in there about poverty.
And strangely enough, the Gnostics always managed to have plenty of money towards the part of their life in which they began to get going. They always managed to make enough money, whether it was to keep them traveling or to build giant places to take care of the homeless. They always manage the money.
I think it's so glorious that Sylvia has been given this opportunity to have this money to keep the church going. It's just, I'm just so happy about that.
So is she. She is the less greediest person I've ever known in my life. I think she's almost deficient in any greed, which is bad. She has no knowledge of anything for herself. And that's not good either. So she's a little bit lopsided. She's almost too much the other way. God bless you and keep you.
Well, that creates debate. New or used. Well, hey, either way, it's there's the basics of programming and synergism.
Very, very cool.
And unfortunately, it makes, well, and fortunately, it creates a reminder for me. What aren't I doing?
What could you be doing?
The vision board she talked about.
Yes.
However, I don't know if I can find it, but somebody in a committee I'm on took our headshots for our committee slides and put us into artificial intelligence and said, make a superhero out of us. And I have a really funny. She made one for me for the committee, but I made another one, and it's funny how the faces came out so similar.
Oh wow!
As a superhero, so it's anyway. It's
hey,
fun
let's
stuff.
Go.
But that's it's a caped crusader, with a big shoulders and a big broad chest kind of thing, and it's a funny graphic that I don't know if I can find it. Anyway, that's the kind of thing I can put up somewhere, print it and put it up somewhere to remind me, hey, we are healthy. And yes, I have some of the things I do is when I'm brushing my teeth, yes, I'm visualizing an image of what's healthy teeth. So some things I am getting, and others I'm like, oh, I still got to do that.
I feel like doing an art project. I think I'll be working on a board. I've got a bunch of magazine cutouts that I can go through again. But this sounds like a lot of fun. And especially if we're going to start getting into synergism as a talk, it'd be really fun to share the results as it goes along. So
yeah. And I was just, now that you're mentioning it, yes, we've spoken about this in some of the things that at least I've programmed for, spent time and effort programming for, and what came about for that. So fun stories.
Yeah, very fun stories. Okay. So I'll just highlight one thing, please.
Go ahead.
What we just heard in the last segment was a little piece about saying that when we program and use synergism in the way that she described, and you go through like offering a contract with God, saying I'll use this money in this way, or I'll use this bounty in this way to do good, that it goes into it taps into something different that is not part of your chart. So when people think like, oh, did I chart, a life of poverty or a life of suffering with X, Y, and Z things, like this is something different. This is an entirely different process that she's talking about. And She very, very clearly says that when people start really committing themselves to doing good for others, and especially in the context of Gnosticism, and then they tend to have what they need, and that's part of it. That's part of it. So
That goes along the lines of, I've mentioned this in the past, and now I'm trying to remember my exact words, but it's something to the effect of, when, what was it? It was, I think it, one thing that does come to mind that falls in those lines of, oh, I don't speak well, I don't talk well, I don't relate well, and oh, I must have charted that, and so, oh, all right, then that's what I'm gonna be.
and that's,
No.
no.
The point is, oh, you've recognized that, and you charted that because that's the lesson, is to elevate beyond that.
Yes. Don't give up just because you think it's charted. Charted doesn't mean this is a stopping point. No, it is a push through point, push
It
forward
could be,
point.
yes, where you're at could be the hurdle,
Mhm.
and the lesson is how do you get over that hurdle?
Yes.
And these are tools to help you do that.
Yes, and we can have 20. We've been told they can have 20 different options for how to respond to a difficulty in a chart. My goodness, you always have options. Never give up. It's always what I'm going to cheer for.
Cool.
Yeah.
I interrupted, or was there something else you were going to? Okay.
No, we're good. Yeah.
So does that mean, any more comments, or should we
So somebody asks about Synergism board. So do you start off with a board and your objective is to add to it? Yeah, your objective is to think about what is the type of prosperity or change that you are going to request help with, or that you would like to see happen. So if it is that you need to have improved health, what she described was take a picture of yourself. Maybe these days you'd use AI and say, put me on a very, very healthy body, looking, fit and fabulous, whatever it is, and then print that out and put it someplace on your board where you're going to see it. So there's a lot of different ways that people approach boards, but they do them because it works and it's fun to do. Like, goodness.
they're helpful reminders.
They are.
You go by the board you walk by the board or pass by it every day. It's the visual of, oh, there's where I want to be. Oh, here's what I want to accomplish. Oh, I would like this style of car. This is how it's going to benefit me, and oh, maybe I can help others with it.
Absolutely. Also, quick happy birthday shout out to Aaron's youngest daughter, M. So happy birthday to you. Hope
Happy
you have a fabulous
birthday.
Yes. All right. So I think we can maybe move on to meditation time.
Cool. All right.
Amazing.
Those of you that are ready, willing, and able, find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. If you like to be a somnambulism, find a resting spot, find a flat place to lay down. Otherwise, for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand. And for the rest of us, let's get some rejuvenation.
Find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now, close your eyes when you are ready.
Healing embrace. I want to take you on a journey. Surround yourself with the purple light, the royal color of spirituality. Both you and I are asking for rows upon rows of people to all come around you in a circle, to bless and care for you, your spirit guides, the archetypes, everyone whom you've ever loved and who has loved you, whether in your past lives or this one, your dear pets who have passed on, children that you've lost, fathers or husbands who you think are not there. A mist appears and hangs heavily around you. You're a little afraid to walk because you can't see far in front of you. Much like this life. However, you feel warm hands on you and the love of a mother or grandmother who comes back. You feel them press you to move forward. All these people surround you now, and you are standing in a beautiful meadow. The love emanating from this group is such a strong force that you are actually borne up by it, and you float freely above the circle, enjoying unconditional love and nurturance. In the meadow, you can see white maned horses frolicking in the distance among trees, bearing luscious fruit and profusely flowering bushes. You feel the desire to be closer to all those who surround you, so you float down and feel their warmth, their loving hands, the touching you, pulling you close in embraces. You feel the physical warmth of love. A green light seems to emanate from them. It heals you. Sweeping up slowly and thoroughly from the bottom of your Feel your mother's kiss soft on your cheek. Feel your spouse hold you in his arms. Feel your brother come up beside you and lay his hand on your shoulder. Speak to them. Breathe in the fresh meadow air, scented with wildflowers. Now return to your body and look straight ahead. Notice how revitalized you feel. Each time you do this, I promise you, you will be healed completely.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally alert. Find yourself a comfortable place to sit, with your feet flat on the floor.
Man, the internet's not helping us out here.
Some difficulties. There we go.
Oh well.
There we go.
I'm like, whoa, what a shock in the middle of a meditation. And anyway, that was the streaming service decided to turn off the music, kick us off, and anyway, we're here.
We're here.
Now we gotta say what's next? Well, that happens to be, oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. If you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in the chat or email us questions to newspirit@novus.org. And of course, we appreciate listeners both live and on demand. We appreciate when you show your support for New Spirit Radio by sharing, liking, and subscribing. Check out our websites. Where are we? Novus.org, SylviaBrowne.com, and ChrisRightNow.com. Yes, we're on Facebook, because I know half of you know that, and the other half may, because the other half are on YouTube and may not know that we're on Facebook. We are on Discord. You can leave comments there. I understand you can do live there too, but I haven't figured that part out yet. Yes, we have study groups. You can learn more about our philosophy and get advanced learning. Well, okay, it's at your own pace. Let's see. Sunday services. Yes, on the first Sunday of the month, there are posted on YouTube and Facebook, as well as live in person in Las Vegas, hosted by our Reverend Ellen Schloss. It is also live streamed on a private Facebook group, which you can be invited to if you like. And on the last Sunday of the month, you can participate in a special Zoom service that's also hosted by our Reverend Ellen Schloss. To get invited, go to our website and post your email so you can get an invitation by email. Now's the time for our novena. It's a special prayer ceremony that was presented to us by, I believe, Francine. We've heard many times how we are a spark of the divine, and yet over time, over lifetimes, it's been pounded on us that we're not God, we're not worthy. Yet here's a prayer that helps remind us and gets our mind back in order of we are God, we are part of God. So what we're going to do is, in this prayer ceremony, if you're not familiar with it, we're going to say a phrase 3 times, and I'll lead us off, but we're going to say it together, and we'll say it 3 times, and then I'll tell you what to ask for. And we're going to do that 3 times. How does that connect? Well, it goes along with our tenet number 10 that says, let no one convince you that you are less than a god. Do not let fear imprison your spiritual growth. Oh, and the phrase is, geez, I almost forgot. The phrase is, if you're not familiar, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, I'm going to lead us off. We'll say it 3 times, and I'll tell you what you want to ask for. And I'll keep us in line here. Visualize that we're all holding hands together. It doesn't matter when you're watching this or listening, but visualize that we're all in a circle holding hands, whether we're in a big room or out in space somewhere, wherever it works for you visually. Well, here we go. Here's the phrase. I'm going to lead us off. We'll say this 3 times together. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay, here's the second one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon of light for others seeking this spiritual knowledge. Think of something you appreciate from last week so you can carry that thought through next week to help keep you mentally appreciative, positive, and uplifted. Now, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all of this wonderful knowledge, Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement, and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here, Asna for helping us and protecting us, and Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. I appreciate Bob Ingold's help with some of the background issues, Sammy and Javon for our wonderful theme music, our intro, outro. Writing, setup, and hosting is Reverend Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now, a prayer by Sylvia. Somewhere. Oops, hello. What happened? Darn it. Oh, there we go. Hopefully that worked. Nope.
Yay.
There we go. All right. Here's the prayer by Sylvia.
Prayer to walk with the Christ consciousness. Dear Lord, send your angels to guide us today. Help us be strong in a world that is war-torn and filled with hypocrisy, greed, and evil. Through the desert of our lives, give us drink. Through starvation, give us bread. And in the darkest hours when we are alone, give us hope. Let us stand tall, away from all the ties that bind and the ridiculous fears and hatreds of a vengeful God. May we drop all of those today, loving both God and ourselves. We ask that your hand pass over us today. Light of the world that you are, bring about hope and peace for all the world. Let us make a difference, even if it is only slight. We ask this in the name of the Mother, the Father, the Christ consciousness, and the Holy Spirit. We ask this in your name. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
We love you so much. Go bravely into tomorrow with a positive light in your heart. Good night. We love you.
As if you were not there.
And leave a comment.
All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand, because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth, you are the hope and love we never knew. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. Mother God.